On this episode of the John1911 Podcast, the Glock 45 is legit. The Leader T2 rifle returns. Bongos and Ramen, and the Dorito is just a stale tortilla chip.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Marky and Freeze, and this is episode 115 of the John1911 Podcast. How's your day going so far, Freeze?
It's been a busy morning. I've been doing all kinds of stuff, but yeah, it's been going pretty good, really.
Yeah, I mean, doing stuff, and you're not even hunting today.
No, and you know what? This is the first opening day I've missed in, I honestly don't know how many years.
Safe to say 20 or 30?
Every bit of 20.
Yeah. So your dad's out hunting. I talked to him this morning, and I'm surprised they were able to get in the deer camp with all the ice and all the damage that's been going on.
Yeah, one of the guys went out there yesterday with a chainsaw and cut all the trees out of the road, and there's still power lines down, but I guess no one died running over them. I guess the power lines are dead.
Well, okay. I was like, and I offered to go out and help run some food and come in on the backside, but they got tired of it. And I guess they got whoever they got to cut it to come in. So it's amazing. Yeah, we're gonna have to. I don't deal with power lines. I don't mess with any of that stuff. Oh wait, tomorrow's opening day. Everybody's driving over those damn things.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's still no power out there, or at least as of last night. So,
But there's generators, so they're fine, and there's the boiler system too. So.
Oh yeah, I mean they're fine on on that in that respect, but still it's makes for an uncomfortable weekend.
Yeah, how cold is it out? I'll be honest with you, I haven't even left the building today. I have no idea what the temperature is outside.
I have no clue. I haven't checked temperature. It's not real bad. I'd say it's probably in the high 30s, low 40s maybe right now.
That's not bad. It's a lot better than it was a couple days ago.
Well, of course, down there it's going to be cooler. It's always cool down there.
So I'm gonna tell you what, the ice a couple days ago was, it's like, this is pretty interesting. So we were actually supposed to have I was going to have the lead training officer in from the one city. Is it a city? I guess it's a city.
Yeah.
Going to come in on yesterday, but it's not that, we couldn't get down there or he couldn't get down there or, we have problems shooting in the ice. The problem was they had so many 911 calls and issues. They were too busy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, I tell you, I lost 2 trees here at the house, and one of them came down on the fence, crushed the fence, and missed the trailer by about 8 feet.
There's worse things that you can do in life than sell a vehicle or a trailer back to an insurance company. Just saying.
Yeah.
It's like, damn it. All right.
Yeah,
a little bit more to the left. A little bit more to the left, Jesus.
Well, the fence is not that big of a deal. The trailer would have been a major inconvenience.
Yeah, we need that trailer. We don't need to have it get roasted.
And I mean, the fence, that's no big deal. I think once I cut the logs off of it, I'll probably be able to pull it. I think it'll stretch back up. I don't think it's ripped. I think it's just squashed. But if not, I've got rolls of woven wire. I can, cut out a section, splice a new section. It's no big deal.
Sure. Yeah. So it's, it hasn't been that bad, but it's been a few years since we've seen this kind of ice that I recall.
It's been a while.
Yeah. So we're not even, no one's hunting. Well, we're not hunting on opening day. I thought about checking the range, and I may still check the range today for poachers, but, I want to get the podcast in and, just catch up with you on a bunch of stuff that's been going on. So
Uh-huh.
Are you going to be, would you want to run out to the range later today and go poacher hunting?
No. If I'm going to run out that way, I'm going to hunt. But no,
Okay.
I've actually, since I committed to not hunting, I've got a list of things I need to do today.
I thought you were unusually busy with like honeydew lists for opening day. Like running around doing this, hanging this, dealing with the grandkids, moving stuff around. I'm like, geez, today's supposed to be your day.
Oh no, I mean this is this annually is traditionally a weekend where I'm not even in town. I'm out of town all weekend. So, don't even attempt to ask me to do anything. But since I'm not hunting opening weekend this year, I might as well make it productive and get a bunch of crap done because Thanksgiving's just coming up week, and I want to get crap done, so I can just chill.
Yeah, that's true. So,
and I'm off.
Is this, since you're not hunting, is this going to be? Should we not mention the two big deer stories that have already come out this season?
We can mention them.
When did Kentucky's gun season open? Was it last weekend?
Last weekend.
Okay. And I guess Wisconsin must have been last weekend too. So I guess in Kentucky, some guy, he shot a base. They're calling it a two-headed deer, but it's a buck that's got the carcass, the head, the mount. Literally, it's like the mount of a dead deer stuck to his antlers.
Well, you know what's interesting is there was a taxidermist not too far from us. I've used him in the past. You might have even used him. I think you might have. But Anyway, in his shop, he had a deer that was that had another deer locked in its rack that they had mounted.
So when they do that, like, because I was curious, like if I had shot the two-headed deer, we'll have pictures of it in the comment section on John1911. So you see the fully healthy deer.
Yeah.
And then there's like next to it, like intertwined in its horns, is this roached out, rotting deer head. So do they do a full cape mount on the live deer and then maybe do a European style on the dead deer?
Yeah, that's usually how it works when they mount it.
Okay.
Because if there's any hide left on the dead deer, it's so rotted, it's not mountable,
Yeah, but that's what I was wondering. It's like, what are you going to do with that?
These deer are very rare because usually when deer get locked together, like that, they either both die or if one, what happens is one, the dominant buck will like break the neck of the non-dominant buck and that deer's dead. And then he can't unlock the horns. And usually he just either, starves to death or dehydration because he can't get, water or whatnot. To actually survive to where the body rots off the head and he's still toting around the head of his dead opponent, that's a very rare occurrence.
Mm-hmm. The only time I've ever seen, I've seen two deer locked together where people have found them and have gone to unlock them. But the only time I've ever seen an actual where they've recovered the deer, typically it's when like they both drown is the ones I recall. They end up in the water somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen pictures of two deer locked together, drowned in water. I've seen that as well.
Mm-hmm. So, I guess now, realistically, the coyote situation is so bad. If a deer was, basically that laid down with that much carcass and weight on him, and he really can't run and can't fight back that well, if the coyotes find him, he's in trouble.
Oh yeah, big time.
Unless they eat the dead deer. Which would be pretty hard, just think about this. That deer could have won the fight and then had coyotes. He fought to keep the coyotes off of him while they ate the dead deer. And then when he finally thinks he's home free, bam.
Yeah.
Sorry about your luck.
Yeah. Now, was that a bow kill or was that a gun kill?
It was a gun kill.
Okay.
Well, I don't know that for a fact it was a gun kill, but the way the guy described it, he engaged that deer. It had to have been a rifle shot. He was so far away from him, he could tell it had a big rack on it, but he did not see the second head.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he shot it at distance.
Yeah, that's a good kill.
That had to have been a gun. That had to have been a gun hit.
Now, the other deer story is a bow kill.
I assumed it was a bow kill in Wisconsin. For the listeners that don't know this yet, a guy he's been looking for this deer for 5 years. He's been tracking this deer, and it's a 19-point buck.
Yep.
And it's like, holy smokes.
Well, I tell you what.
That thing looks like it should be in a Stan Lee comic book.
He got very lucky. I tracked a deer for 4 years, and on the 5th year, I didn't see it anymore. And this was here on my property.
Mm-hmm. I remember this deer.
And opening week of bow season, a guy who lives less than a mile away as the crow flies shot that deer. And I'd been hunting this deer for, it would have been my 5th year. And bow season comes along and I stopped seeing this deer. And then I learned later in the season that the guy, like I said, is a relatively close neighbor, shot the deer. And it's like, damn it. But, that's why it's called hunting and not killing.
Yeah, it's the sporting, a fair chase and, all that kind of stuff. So.
I watched this deer and it was a monster rack, but I never had a shot at him. I watched him at a distance. He never came close enough for bow range. And, and it would have been a heck of a trophy, but hey, that's the way it goes.
What if you were to guess in the 4th year that you saw him, how many points do you think he was?
Oh, he was a solid 12-point buck.
No, was it Boone and Crockett points or whatever they call it?
Nah, he probably would have scored maybe in the 180s.
Oh wow, okay, he's a pretty good deer.
He was a healthy buck. He wasn't a record breaker or anything like that. But he had a really, what made him so nice is his rack was real fat. It was a fat rack, and it was so evenly balanced. Both sides almost mirrored each other. And when you're scoring a rack, that means a lot. Yeah,
because don't they have to measure the distance between? And so if they turn in and it can really hurt you.
Yeah, well, they measure the distance between, but the thing is, you're matching times on each side. You don't just add them up. There's subtraction involved too.
No, there's some bonus points.
Yeah, well,
I've never scored
if one T1 tine is 8 inches long and the other one's 2, you're going to lose 6 points. You're going to lose 6 inches of measurement.
Yeah, I see that. I see what you're saying. So we can tell. Come opening day, our listeners can tell that you're the hunter in this company, and I'm the Bawana who carries the guns. So, I'm a baby hunter. So, yeah.
It's all good. And I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird sitting here in the house on opening day.
I'll bet you the deer are moving today after the past couple days they've had. Oh, and I hate to do that to you, but dude, they were locked down and all that ice.
Oh yeah,
and that nastiness.
Well, hey,
it's like 30, 39 degrees today. They're probably moving and eating today. Even I know that.
I hope everyone has a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like I said, it kind of feels weird not being out in the field, but On the other hand, I'm really okay with it. I have become a lazy hunter over the years. And what I mean by that is I don't hunt hard anymore. If the weather is really shitty, I just soon lay up in the house. I mean, like years ago, if you had, like 15, 20-mile wind gusts, and your trees swaying back and forth, I'd climb up in it anyway. It's like, yeah, probably not going to see too much because deer, when it's real windy like that, they don't move a lot. But you never know. You might have that son of a bitch who gets jumped up, so, but, like if the hunting's really bad, it's like, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, you got your big deer. You got your trophy deer years ago. Then basically you went to shooting all meat.
Yeah.
Sounds like we're talking about something at a gay bar, but shooting all meat.
Look, yeah. I've shot big racks over the years, and I'm not a trophy hunter per se. I don't go out there looking for big monster racks. I look more for meat. And the truth is, I've killed so many deer over the last 35 years. I've killed so many deer. I just don't even care anymore.
I'm trying to think, how many deer have I actually shot? Three or four maybe total.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's it.
Yeah. See, you're in single digits. I'm in triple digits.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when you hunt 2 or 3 states, and I mean, I'm hunting my own property here in my home state, and there's like this year, I think I'm allowed to take 6 deer. And I mean, it'd be nothing, to shoot, anywhere from 3 to 8 deer a year.
I forgot to tell you something. I found this out last week. So the East Coast facility, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do I say this and keep it oblique? We've got the rifle range in on the East Coast facility. It was kind of really just skeleton operations. And, 1,300 yards was what was set up. And, some basic infrastructure, roads, some shelters and all that. But, it's, I don't want to give the exact acreage, but it, I'll say this, it's under 1,000 acres. Okay.
Yeah.
That is now going to be basically a hunting preserve.
Really?
Yeah. I forgot to tell you about all that. So there was some question as to whether the rifle range was going to stay there, because I had basically was like, let's put it in here, and they did it, and then decided that it was so successful that it made a lot of sense to base off of that. So,
well, it realistically, it makes sense.
Well, remember when I was shooting? I was out there shooting, and it's on film. You can't see the bear, but I was shooting at a steel target at 700 yards, and a black bear crossed right in front of the target. Well, you can now hunt black bear on that range.
Really?
Theoretically, yeah, I guess you could. I didn't really think about it because I was so busy dealing with other stuff. I had so many meetings and things going on. It just kind of went in one ear and out the other, and I was like, oh, okay. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. Well,
keep that in mind.
Well, it's been a lot of years since I hunted bear. I wouldn't mind going out there and hunting bear because I was thinking, oh, that's just another hunting facility that I won't use. Because, no, seriously, I mean, I have more places to hunt than I have time to hunt.
Yeah, there's no reason for us to go to the East Coast to hunt deer because the truth be told, our deer are better here anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. I mean, basically, the deer get world class from about somewhere, I would say, eastern Pennsylvania out to Kansas?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's where all the big deer are. It's basically the Ohio Valley out to Kansas and north up into Michigan and Wisconsin because it's so damn cold.
Yeah, I mean, you start getting, further south and further east, the deer start getting smaller. It's not to say that there's not big deer out there, but, look, Pennsylvania produces some pretty decent sized deer, I mean, there are big deer around, but, as I get older, I find I have less and less time to hunt. And the truth is, I have just as much time to hunt as I always had, but as I get older, I just have less and less desire to hunt.
Yeah.
Things become more of a priority. But, like I said, it's been a long time since I've hunted black bear.
I've never hunted black bear, so I only almost shot one by accident because he got in front of my target. I'm sure the DNR would have really believed that.
Oh, yeah, they would have. Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd have patted you on the back and sent you on your way.
Yeah, to jail or whatever it is they do without my gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
that that rifle would have accidentally disappeared in the police locker.
Dude, my freaking that was my Blazer tactical too.
Yeah, we got accidentally got lost in property.
Yeah, that one would have been. Yeah, they would have argued to in negotiations to give up the gun and we'll drop the charges so the PD can keep the gun. Oh, that's never happened before. Yeah. So, hey, Brownell's has been killing it. They got their AR-10 stuff and they're doing the retro AR-15s and if you want to build these retro guns, they're coming out with receivers and they're sourcing the parts they can't find. They're having them made and it's really impressive. Brownell's, if you're into a little bit of the historical milsurp game, not true milsurp because a lot of stuff has to be made new. It's really interesting. Well, Brownell's is doing it again. So at some point in the past, Brownell's, I always thought this was weird. It's like, why are people bringing in HK 416 parts kits into the U.S.? I always just was like, okay, I guess. But, there's some military groups out there, I guess they're cycling through their 416s already, which I don't even understand. But Brownell's has been probably getting these from distributors or from importers. They're probably not doing it themselves, and they're bringing in parts kits. And so now with the newer ATF rules, you can't do barrels. They can't bring in the receivers because they're machine gun receivers, and they're not allowing you to bring in barrels into the country, which I think is bullshit. The barrel thing really pisses me off. But Brownell's is now selling the HK 416 part kits. God, they're like $2,800, $2,300. They're expensive as hell. But now they went out. They're having 416 barrels made, and they're having a reproduction 416 lower. I don't even know what makes a 416 lower. But they're selling the lowers, so you can buy from Brownell's and have a quote 416, milsurp clone build that's got all 416 parts on it, with the exception of the machine gun parts and the barrel. And, you're probably $4,000 into it total.
Yeah.
But
it's nice that the option's out there.
It is nice. The thing is, H&K is opening up, they're expanding their facility and goes to Columbus, Georgia. And whatever it says on the bottom of your VP9 on the underplate, that's where they're at. And I believe H&K is just going to simply start making these guns in the U.S. You know, it's just like, I think H&K is probably going to start making, at some point, H&K is going to have to start making G36s in the U.S. because they're giving up too much money not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I just wonder if this, maybe it's like, you know, Brownell's is like, we've got these parts kits, but things are changing. Let's get these things in and out in the next couple of years before H&K cuts our balls off. But I thought that was really interesting. So, speaking of parts kits, we're not going to specifically talk about it. I can't believe it. We're still winning.
Really?
There's been no movement. We are still winning.
That's awesome.
After our conversation, kind of like pseudo argument we had the other day, I kind of get to the point that I would be okay maybe if we don't win because it's so much money. And I'm like, God, it's just not a right time. Yeah. But we're still winning. So
that's cool. I still fully expect us not to win, but it's kind of nice to know that right now
we're still winning. Apparently, the 07 thinks we're not going to win too. He thinks we're not going to talk about it, but he says when that auction gets close to being done, he's like, that thing's going to fucking go. And it's like, all right.
Well, and the thing is, honestly, where it's at right now is kind of where it needs to be because anything over and above that is stupid. And look, the only people that are going to spend more than what it is now are people that are going to invest into turning it back into a live gun. Yeah. Because
be careful because I want to be able to publish this before.
I'm not going to mention what it is. But if someone wants to buy it for a parts kit, they really can't afford to put more. They can't afford to bid more than where it's at right now because it's It's not.
Yeah, you're in the deep end of the pool on this gun, and this is not display gun territory. This is
because
post dealer sample territory.
Yes, because if you buy this kit to make into a dummy gun, then you'll never get your money back out of it. You're done.
Yeah, we're not gonna. Don't even mention. Yeah, we gotta. I don't even want to mention what's in. So, but we're still winning. I think we'll know in the next probably less than 48 hours.
Yeah, but also let me say this: I don't think we're going to win this. But if we do, it's only because the amount of money it's going to take to turn this operational. Again, you're getting into the deep end of the pool because, if this thing goes up another, even say $500, now with the cost of putting it together, you're not upside down on it. But, if this thing goes up another $1,000, then, and here's the thing, people that build these guns like to do it on the cheap is a rule.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yes, because the thing is, that's the home build guys. They're not going to spend this kind of money. This is all post dealer sample. We're into the machine gun realm here, but the thing is, the problem is with this particular item is post dealer sample guns are notoriously not expensive, and you really have to get to where you're crossing your lines, versus what that would go for as a built post dealer sample sold to another dealer, as opposed to it being a transferable machine gun. And it's a weird spot, and it's a weird situation. And if we can squirt by with it, I'm not going to be unhappy. It sucks right now for the money because, I've got all this, the terms to pay for this right now, I think suck. And if it wasn't this particular item, I wouldn't even be dicking with this because we're still dealing with all this other stuff. I'm just, money's tight. And the terms on how this has to be paid for suck for me. But
the terms suck, but
you know what? But that also helps us win it because
because the terms suck, and a lot of people will be like, well, if the terms were a little different, and I'm not going to go into details, but if terms were a little different, maybe I could buy it, but I can't buy it with these terms, So that does help us. But the other thing with this is, man, it's a clean kit. The cuts are clean. I mean, there's other stuff out there.
It's a functional machine gun.
Yeah, this thing is nice.
We're gonna leave it at that. It's a functional machine gun, and we're gonna leave it at it's super clean.
Oh yeah,
So
it's one of the cleanest ones I've seen in a long, long time.
If we win it, it'll be kind of like a bittersweet. If we lose it, it'll be a little bit of a relief because I don't have to deal with the money right now.
Yeah.
But the thing is, long term, if we lose it a year from now or 2 years from now or 5 years from now or 20 years from now, I'm going to regret it forever. This thing is like fucking legend, and we'll have to just see. So
yeah, but you know what? On the other side of that argument is,
I know, but you can't. I know. But I'm just afraid you're going to say something, and I can't publish the pod.
Come on, man. Give me a little bit more credit than that, okay? Don't treat me like a child, please.
All right. Okay. I'm afraid you're going to start mentioning the alternatives, and that'll basically zero it in. So I apologize. You're right. So, hey, on good news, the ATF finally took our tax stamp money on a suppressor.
That is very good news.
Good Lord.
Very good news. It took them long enough to cash the check, so to speak.
It took them almost a month.
Jesus.
I've never heard of that. I've never seen a situation where government agents have money.
Man, the last time I filed for my CNR, you paid, I paid through my debit card online, and the payment went through, I think within 24 hours.
Yeah, it was like this. I thought something was wrong. I was like, "Oh, great, this isn't a."
That's a great sign that they took the money.
Yeah, so
at least we're in the system.
Yeah, we're in the system, so hopefully we'll get
question on we were even in the system on it.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it was like, well, then it's going to take 2 months to solve this problem, and then we're not even starting the clock on the actual NFA paperwork, and it's like, oh my God. I thought for sure this was going to get fucked up. And here's the thing. The listeners don't know this, but you know this. This would be the second fuck up in this purchase involving this Class 3 dealer, and I was about to fucking let him have it.
Yeah.
I was pretty cool the first time.
Yeah.
But twice, I was like,
It's so far this particular dealer's track record is not winning.
Yeah, basically it'd be like, fuck you guys. I'm going to go to Silencer Shop and use the kiosk and just do electronic and just forget you. I don't care what the price difference is. Or mom and pop shop, so yeah.
Yeah. So but no, that, like I said, that's great news. I'm glad that at least they've sucked the funds up.
Yeah, it'll take a year though.
You know what? It will. Look.
This is for a suppressor, in case anybody's wondering. It's a suppressor we need for the Blaser guns, and it's a lightweight suppressor, so we don't have a point of impact shift. But it's like, and the thing is, my guns use those weird threads, and this suppressor allows you to, have different threads.
Yeah.
Well, I use all those European threads.
Well, I'm not going to waste the time or the money right now, but once we get the suppressor, I'll take the Howe over to the 07 and have him thread the barrel.
He may have to break that out of the receiver to thread that barrel, though.
Oh, he probably will.
Okay, as long as you're okay with that.
No.
Well, no. Okay. Well, you know what? Let me see. I don't know if that suppressor has inserts for different thread pitches. I don't think it's got an insert for a QD, for like any type of QD device. So what we'd probably do is we would probably thread the Howa to a standard American pitch, and I would just go ahead and buy an adapter because I don't want to lock your gun into a European thread pitch for no reason.
Yeah, and I agree. That's probably the smartest way to go. But you know what? We'll deal with that bridge when we get
Yeah.
there. Let's wait till we get a functional suppressor that we can use first.
Yeah. It's a good suppressor, so hopefully it'll get going. Hey, I got a chance while I was traveling. I got a chance to play with the Glock 19X and the Glock G4, I guess the 45, the G45. It's not a 45 caliber gun, it's a 9mm. And I was pretty impressed with the G45. I gotta admit, dude. I haven't paid attention to these guns because I'm not really I've got plenty of Glocks, but in the 19X was like, okay, I like the idea that it's got a full size grip and a 19 slide because that's really what everybody wanted, but it's got like this goofy bottom on it and it's got these big extended magazines on it, which it's fine, but it's like that's not really going to give me anything over a 17. And the G45 is just a clean 19 slide and 17 frame. It's probably a Gen 5. It's an ambidextrous slide stop, and it's got front cocking serrations. That gun is legit nice. That gun is like, you throw that gun up to present it, it's like, damn, that thing presents real well. And with our hands, dude, you're gonna like that gun if I buy one.
Probably not, but
oh, that's right. You hate Glocks. Well, here's the thing. Apparently, I'm going to have to start shooting a 40 caliber Glock.
Well, good
that the ones the sheriff's office, not the sheriff's office, the city police department, the sheriff's office that was out the range, they're running 9s. I'm pretty certain, but the city police that came out, they're running 22s. Gen 4 Glock 22s. And it's like, if I'm going to shoot the qualifications with them, the truth is I got to shoot basically the same gun they're shooting. So what I was going to do is I forgot we had this. We have a 40 caliber Glock in the armory. We've got the Glock 34s and 35s.
Yeah.
I can never remember which one's 9 and which one's 40, but we got a 40. Yeah, so it's the practical tactical gun.
Yeah.
So I figure I would just get a Safari Land like thumb drive because basically I can get the retention holster that they're running. It'll get one big enough for the 34, 35, but then it'll also work with the 17, the 19, and every other Glock, that's standard size. And that way we've got a retention holster to use for all these guns, just in case we ever want to shoot from retention holster, if we're cops or something.
Yeah.
Because, if you're shooting with them, if you're not shooting the same gun and you're not shooting with a retention holster and you're trying to set up, how fast or how slow, what ends up happening is even if nobody admits it, they all start thinking, well, you've got a better gun than me and you've got a better holster than me. So psychologically, it starts psyching people out. And so that's why a lot of people like to have the same guns as their students. Not that they're my students, but you know what I'm saying? It's like if you're demoing something, you're shooting the same gun, you remove that wig out in their brain from, disconnecting from what can be done. So I figure I'm not going to buy a Glock 22. But you can get them anywhere. But I figured, well, I'll just shoot the long slide.
Sure. Yeah,
so I may be better on recoil management, but I lose on presentation.
Yeah.
So and clearing a holster. So it's like if they want to complain about it, it's like, here, you shoot this gun, I'll shoot your gun. See which one you'd rather shoot.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah. So just not that I'm going to run out and buy a Glock 45, but I'll tell you what, I thought it was a pretty legit gun. I was pretty happy with it. So,
oh, that's good. Good for Glock, I guess.
Oh, did I tell you about the targets?
No, I don't recall you mention anything about targets, so I'm going to
we had to get because to shoot their standards, we got to have because they have to shoot for score, like it has to go on file. So we actually have to use their target. Like it's an actual, you can't use a version of their target or we create it. It has to be their target that their training officers can measure them, shoot them on a timer, document it, file them away, and keep them for qualification. So we actually have to have their targets. So I was like, all right. And they were even saying I had to get it from a particular vendor. It's like, okay, whatever. So anyway, I call the vendor. Hey, this is who we are. This is what we're doing. Just send me 100 of these targets. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, what's the price to ship them to the armory? And I'm like, well, you know what? Just ship them to the PD. So I gave them the PD's address. And was like, basically like, so we can have the targets on the range. And the PD was like, man, thanks for buying us targets. And I'm like, they're not for you. I'm like, oh, I guess I'll have to order some more.
And have them shipped to the armory this time.
God, I was like, God damn. It's not that I was bad, but I was like, like they're so thankful. Like, oh man, thanks for buying us targets. And I'm like, they're not for you, but okay, you're welcome.
Well, you know what? It's a cost of doing business for goodwill, and
Yeah.
And
so it wasn't a lot of money. It's only 100 targets. It's like I ordered 1,000 of them. So
it's fine.
Small department. Just us shooting on the range. 100 targets would last us probably 2 years.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll have to order some more. So, hey, you were telling me, I guess your friend and mine, Michael Avenatti's having a bad week.
Oh, man, he is.
Talk politics.
You know what, though? That guy is a total piece of shit.
Dude, he's probably a sociopath.
Oh, man. But, jumping in the limelight like he tried to do with the Stormy Daniels thing, man, his life has been on a downward death spiral since then. It's probably before then, but at least he wasn't in the limelight. But now everything he does is up front.
It kind of reminds me of like you'll see a celebrity or maybe a pseudo celebrity. And they'll be, not that you would see it, but like they'll be like some girl or maybe some actor who is in LA most of the time, and they're getting more media than their career warrants, and so they start, behaving and acting to get more media. And what they don't realize is and it always surprised me that they don't realize this. The media like TMZ or the Hollywood Reporter or all these entertainment outlets are not following the little pink princess girl because she's great or she's talented or she's smart or she's interesting or she's the next big it girl. They're following her because she's a rolling train wreck and they want to get it on film when it explodes into a fireball. Yeah. And at some point, the Michael Avenatti thing's got to be the same way. I mean, this guy is like, people have to have known for a while, like, this guy's a train wreck. And, are we going to put him on TV because we really think that he's going to stop Donald Trump, or are we going to put him on TV because we want to have the exclusive video of him basically, self-immolating on film? And, you hear stories about this guy and it's just like, now he's talking about running for president. It's like,
yeah, whatever.
Like when I heard him talking about running for president, I'm saying to myself, this guy's probably a sociopath. He has no concept, no empathetic concept of how he's actually viewed by other people. I don't think. I think he has these delusions of if he just keeps his name in the paper and the cameras on him and the lights on, that eventually it'll lead to the promised land, and he doesn't realize he's the cocaine girl in Hollywood that they're going to videotape jumping off the roof of the Beverly Hills Hotel. They don't really care about you, dude. They're using you just the way you're using them. And I don't think he's figured it out yet. I guess he got evicted from his. He's got evicted. I guess you told me he got evicted from his offices. I guess he beat up the woman he beat up. Is that his ex-wife or is this a girlfriend?
No, I thought it was his wife. I didn't know if it was an ex-wife or what,
or estranged wife.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, he beat the crap out of her.
I'll tell you what, for a hot minute, he was dating who's Billy Joel's ex-wife?
Christy Brinkley?
Yes, he was dating Christy Brinkley for like a hot minute there. Back over the summer.
Wonder if he ever beat the shit out of her.
Well, she Christy Brinkley is she's got her own issues, but when he was the hot thing and what happened was over the summer he hit all the parties in Nantucket and up in Martha's Vineyard. He was the big celebrity up there because he was going to stop Donald Trump. So he was, moving in those circles and he was real popular and he started banging some of these chicks up there. And I don't know if they figured out that he was nuts or if they kind of got through the midterms and now they don't need him anymore or what's going on with all that. But, he's going to end up, he's going to be like Cindy Sheehan.
Well, that's probably why he got evicted. He was partying too much and couldn't afford to pay his rent.
Yeah, he's had big money issues with his law firms and his partners. There's been a lot of problems there going on for a while. So, speaking of Hollywood, dude, did you see what happened to Malibu? Have you ever been to Malibu?
No, I've never been to Malibu, but I heard it's pretty toasty right about.
It's gone. And it's like, I mean, I don't think a lot of people in middle America don't truly appreciate, like, what would Malibu be the equivalent of to like the rest of the country? Like Malibu.
Beach.
What was that?
Daytona Beach.
No, because that's a destination. Like, I have to say this. Malibu would be like, this is not an overstatement here. Malibu burning to the ground on the West Coast would be like Manhattan burning to the ground. I mean, it's like that is rarefied, untouchable air. Like, talk about a safe space. Like, where the communists on the West Coast plot and plan to take over the world is Malibu. I mean, the fact that whole thing burned to the ground is unbelievable. And I mean, last I heard, they said that, I mean, again, first reports are almost always wrong. I think they're up to 60 or 70 people are dead in some of those fires. But now they're still talking like 1,000 people are missing.
Really? I didn't know the number, but the last I heard a blurb on it, there was a bunch of people missing.
Yeah, and I think they're probably in shelters and just out of contact. But like even like Tiger's Blood Boy got on Twitter at one point. He couldn't find his parents.
Really?
Is it Charlie Sheen couldn't find Martin Sheen and maybe his mother, whoever Martin Sheen's married to now. I don't know.
I have no clue.
But all these people that, Hollywood people that most people in America would know were like running for their lives. It's an amazing story. And I'm wondering, there's going to be a big battle coming. And the battle's going to be, was this fire because of global warming? Or was this fire because you have a lot of people living in the desert and not doing proper management of their resources to fight fires?
You know what it is? The reason Malibu burned is because California doesn't have enough money to build a desalination plant to give them free water because they give all their money to illegals and everyone who's too lazy to fucking work.
Well, you know what? Look, there's been an argument made about California because a lot of people just they don't want to accept this. Like, okay, if you, I had a buddy of mine. He was I mean, there's a lot of military bases in California, especially Southern California. Excuse me, and like in San Diego, it's not uncommon for it not to rain all summer.
Oh yeah, well, it's a
like
desert.
Not even once.
I mean, it's a desert. I mean,
Like this idea, people are like, oh yeah, they'll move there, like they'll be there for because of the bases, and they'll be like, oh man, it doesn't matter what it looks like in the morning, it doesn't matter what the sky looks like. 10 a.m. every day, 60 degrees and sunshine, and 60, 70, and 80 degrees, and it's like that's true. But you'll notice if you do that long enough, you don't have any. It's you live in a desert, and you remember California. There were all these arguments about they were flushing all this water out into the oceans because of the Delta smelt fish. See, I'm old enough to remember this fish. And then they used to do a lot of forest management. Like you used to burn underbrush and clear underbrush and cut trees and cut fire breaks and do stuff. And then it was, again, this is where a lot of the hippies don't want to hear this. If you log timber in the woods, if you have woods, if you do even selective logging and you do it properly, what you're allowing is a thinning out of the woods, a thinning out of the underbrush. And here's the reality. Loggers have to bring the equipment up into the hills, and they have to bring the logs down into the hills. And when a fire breaks out, most of the time, the firefighters and the smoke jumpers and all that, they're all getting to these fires from logging roads. If there's no logging roads to get up to the fire, guess what? You end up waiting till the fire gets down to you because you'll never get your shit up there in time before it's to you anyway.
Yeah.
So the only way to fight these fires is with aircraft, which cannot carry enough. They can't carry enough retardant and they can't carry enough water. And it's like, at what point is California going to start looking in the mirror and saying, we're fucking up here. We live in the desert and we are not in a position to handle our water usage, our fire and resource management, and our electricity usage.
Well, but it's California. Do you expect anything different from those whack jobs? You're sitting there saying, when are they going to start being sensible and reasonable? Well, they haven't been yet. Why do you expect it to happen anytime soon?
Well, I mean, having the West Coast equivalent of Manhattan burned to the ground, I wonder if that's going to be the wake-up call.
Maybe.
I mean, it's Malibu is this is no shit. Malibu is probably, I would say, if you were to think about the most expensive real estate in the world, you're going to talk Hong Kong, Singapore, Paris, area around Buckingham Palace in London, Manhattan, Malibu. I mean, that's it. Because there's people, there's people with big money just to live. Big money buys a little house. And a lot of people with a lot of money and a lot of jack and a lot of connections, even if they're communists.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, they're going to have to be like, what the fuck? What do you mean we don't have any water? What do you mean we don't have fire breaks? What do you mean, remember, there was what was it? Well, it's interesting. The same movements that created the hunting rules and wildlife management in the United States, Teddy Roosevelt, and, hunting licenses and the tag system, those same movements also created, the National Forest Service and, the of firefighters and cutting in fire breaks and and managing the underbrush and managing these forests, because like, didn't Yellowstone like burn to the ground in like 1910?
Nah, I don't remember.
I think it did. Like, dude, because there used to be, before humans were here, like, I mean, shit used to catch on fire and burn forever because that's just the way it was.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, you got to have a big ass fire if you don't cut this shit back, because that's nature. And early in the 1900s and late 1800s, nobody was doing proper wildlife management, and they were shooting all the deer all the time and all the other animals. You couldn't find anything, and they were having all these big fires because people weren't properly managing the forests. And it was the same people that created the hunting system, the fair chase system, and wildlife management also created the systems of the National Park Service, National Forest Service to fucking manage all this stuff. So it wasn't a zoo like fucking Malibu's turned into.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well, this is a good way to segue into my meme of the week, which I just texted over to you. It's just a picture of a Barbie doll that someone is, I don't know, taking a torch to.
Look.
Malibu Barbie.
Say that again. I think you broke up on me. Malibu Barbie, right?
Malibu Barbie. It's basically a Barbie doll that someone took a torch to and burned up.
That's awful. Dude, that is so awful. Oh my God. Meme of the week is Malibu Barbie. So I'll tell you what, that's what you get. When you don't have proper wildlife and resource management, and you live in the desert, then you get that's new Malibu Barbie. That is so awful. And people wonder, when we have people reach out and they're like, "Hey, man, you guys are pretty interesting. Would you like to here's some press releases. Would you like to talk about our product? Or maybe we can sponsor your show." I'm like, "Are you sure you want to do that? Because if you listen long enough, Malibu Barbie's going to show up." Yeah. Hey, I guess this is kind of a low key podcast, but did you see I sent you the thing, the Australian company that makes the Leader T2 rifle? They want to remake those in the US. Remember the company that wanted but they want money up front.
Yeah.
And, as a reference gun, I would always be interested in having a Leader T2. They're about $2,000 or $2,500 on the open market if you can find them. And it's like, there's always more money. There's more things to spend money on than like that old thing. But it's like they want $1,200 for this gun.
Look, okay.
But they want a 50% deposit before they
see, and that's where the problem lies with me. $1,200 for the gun, I think, is a very fair and reasonable price.
Extremely fair. I think that's cheap.
But you have to have a product on the market before I give you $600. I mean, I'm not.
What's the name? Yeah, what's the name of the company that was supposed to be making the STG-44s that we still haven't?
Sturmgewehr? Was that like Sturmgewehr or something like that?
Well, the rifle they're making was a reproduction of the Sturmgewehr.
Wasn't that the name of the company that was putting it together?
No. Sturmgewehr is a machine gun.
Yeah, I know that.
It might be. Is it SMG guns? Maybe
I don't remember.
Or is or maybe SMG? No. Hill and Mac. SMG. They successfully make. SMG made the FG42 that we actually see for sale in semi-auto. But no, it's Hill and Mac guns outside of Atlanta.
Well,
and we're going to be into like year 4 now that these guns have not come out.
They were like taking upfront money to put these guns out like 3 years ago, and they still haven't. They still don't have a product.
And you know what? I don't think that they're not. It's not that they're criminals or there's something like they're embezzling money. It's just hard to do this shit.
Yeah,
I want to make that clear.
Well, the thing is, it's not like they're making a one-off. They've got to get a product that works, a product that is identical to the original, and they have to get a production facility up to pump these out. And it takes a lot of capital, time, and know-how to do it. And that's fine.
It's even better. It's even better because a lot of these STG guns were hand fit, and they're trying to manufacture these to a mass-produced standard for semi-automatic that doesn't unlock at the wrong time. But also, remember, they had told everybody, we're going to make one in 7.62 by 39. We're going to make one in 8mm Kurtz. We're going to make one in 223 5.56. And it was like, if we're going to make our own mags, so you can, the mag will look like a Sturmgewehr mag.
But that's the thing. So even though each particular gun's going to look the same, they have to create and produce.
It's 3 or 4 different guns. Yeah.
Exactly.
Different port pressures or however I don't even know how the recoil system works on these things, but it's like, timing and all that. It's like, look, I think the Leader T2, I'd love to have one for $1,200. The second that gun hits the market, bam, I'll write you a check. Even if it's $1,500,
you know what? See, and we're in the same boat on that. I mean, once it hits the market, I think I'd like to have one. I mean, I really would, but it's got to hit the market first. I'm not willing to. And I know $600 isn't a whole lot of money, but I don't really want to dump $600 and wait 3 years for a product to come out.
Exactly, because that's the thing. I mean, unless this guy, look, in their defense, whoever these Leader T2P, apparently the guy who made the gun is going to do it in the U.S. Maybe he's got access to original tooling, and maybe he's bringing it into the U.S., and maybe he's got the prints. And so he doesn't have to
reinvent the wheel.
Re-engineer backwards like the way the HMG guy, Hill and that guys had to. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if you want to give these people money ahead of time, I wish you luck, and I think you'll be okay. But if it goes sideways, just remember the STG 44 build thing.
And that's the thing. Do I think that it's going to take 3 years to get this on the market? No, I truly don't. But
we don't know.
At the end of the day, I mean, we do have the STG thing out there, and I'm just not willing to take the risk. I'm just not. Once it hits the market, we'll have one in the armory. That's,
yeah,
we'll definitely do that. But until it hits the market, I'm not even remotely willing to part with any cash.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, we've been going for a little while, and we're going to obviously not go too long here. But so you did your meme of the week. So I'm going to give you a choice, the crime story of the week. You have to choose which one you want to do. Do you want to hear the best story about a man who reported his drugs being stolen?
Ooh,
Do you want to hear about the guy that was kicked out of Splash Mountain, Disney, or do you want to hear about the bongo player in St. Petersburg, Florida? Which crime story would you like to hear?
You know what? I'm going to go with the bongo player in St. Petersburg, Florida, because I've seen enough reports about people turning themselves in over drugs, but the bongo story is piquing my interest.
Let's find bongo guy here. So, where's he at? So in St. Petersburg, Florida, here's the headline. It'll come up. Give me a second. Internet's very slow today. Give me a second. Boy, this is like really riveting podcasting. Here we go. Naked Florida man revealed on video sneaking into restaurant and munching on ramen. So I gave you bongos, and I'm giving you a gift of ramen. So I got a picture of this dude.
Okay.
Still. And he doesn't look like he does. He looks like he's at least in his late 50s, 60s, or maybe 70s, and he is buck naked. Okay. So here we go. Let's see. St. Petersburg police officer was investigating November 6th break-in at the Chataway restaurant, reviewing surveillance video that shows the burglar devoured a plate of chicken wings and enjoying a beer inside the kitchen. But then the officer stumbled across another incident from the night before. The video shows a man riding his bike up to the restaurant, pedaling around the parking lot for 10 minutes and slipping in through the back gate. After wandering around for a bit, he opens up the door to the shed, empties out everything out of the shed one by one. Then he goes into a restaurant bathroom, exits naked. He proceeds to sit naked at one of the restaurant's picnic tables, digs into a meal he brought with him, instant lunch ramen. The video then shows him playing bongos.
Wow.
He came in with his pants on, but rode off on a bike without pants. So here's the thing.
Drugs
Look, if you can't go to a restaurant without your pants on, eat ramen noodles, and play bongos, I don't want to live in America anymore.
Man, I really don't want to see you naked playing bongos anywhere. I'll be honest.
I'm not cool. I'm not cool enough to be naked and play bongos like that one guy, Matthew McConaughey, in freaking Hollywood.
That's true.
But
I'd pay to see Matthew McConaughey play bongos naked, but actually, the wife would. But
so
look, let me ask you this: did he have long gray hair and a beard?
No, it's not your friend. I know exactly who you're talking about, and no.
Okay.
This guy's got hair. He's got hair about my length, and he actually has less hair than me. And he's this. Like, look, you hear this, and it's like, is this crocodile or is this going to be bath salts? Like, I don't know what we're.
Man, I don't know, but drugs are involved here somewhere.
Yeah, so it's like, but he's not like when you read the story, you hear the story on the blotter, you're like, all right, suspect's going to be under 30, whatever. And this dude is like, you just can't help but think that he's like, hey, I'm at a point in my life that fuck you. I'm going to fucking get naked, play some bongos, and eat some ramen and go home. Well, and not even I don't even think he did any damage to the restaurant.
Well, at the end of the day, you can take this to the bank. Whatever he was on it wasn't medical marijuana because medical marijuana doesn't make you do shit like that.
It's some good shit, apparently. So, well, okay, the other two that you didn't choose, the best record, the man who reported his drugs stolen, he decided to crash his truck into the courthouse, and then tell everybody that he got ripped off, and it's like, okay, we're gonna take you to jail. And then the Splash Mountain one is, do you know when you go to the amusement parks and like the first hill, they'll take a photograph of people, then they sell you the photographs?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, so I get it's so they do it on roller coasters, and then I guess they do it on Splash Mountain, which to me is like a water ride log flume thing, I guess. So anyway, this guy knowing that he's going to have a photograph taken, he gets on the ride, gets into the very front seat, and I guess under his shirt, he pulls out a big sign and holds it up over his head. It says Trump 2020 on it.
Okay, so he got arrested for that, or he just got kicked out?
No, he got kicked out with the argument saying that if you ever come back to the park again, you're going to be arrested for trespassing.
Okay, but what was their rationale for kicking him out? Obviously, it was politics, but what are they claiming?
Their claim, if I have to do it off the top of my head, I mean, look, you could make two arguments here. The first argument would be holding up a foreign object on a moving ride
could be dangerous.
If you lost control of that object, you could hit somebody with it. And they didn't say that, but their reason, it wasn't unauthorized demonstrations, but it was something they have for, quote, demonstrations. And it didn't seem like here's the thing. It seemed like if some girl had held up some sign that said Code Pink 2020, they'd have kicked her ass out too for it. They were like, don't you fucking do that here.
Okay.
So it didn't come across as being. And I'll be honest with you, the picture is so awesome. It's like that was worth it. I could get banned from Disney. Like we just may have to go. Like you may see a photograph of me with a black bar on my face with a big sign that says John 1911.
Well, okay. I know a person. This person's not a friend of mine, but I know them. That what's the amusement park up on the northern Ohio on the Great Lakes? I don't know, Six Flags or some shit like that.
Is it Busch Gardens or Six
I don't
Flags?
think it's Busch Gardens. I think that's in Florida, but maybe I don't know. But anyway,
okay,
it's in Upper Ohio, and apparently they rent jet skis.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if they've got a big jet ski pond or if it's like right on the lake, and maybe I don't know. Anyway,
it's probably on the lake.
I was not there. This is a story that was told to me. But anyway, this guy who, like I said, he's not a friend of mine, but I know him, and he's, I don't think highly of this guy at all. Let's just leave it at that.
Boy, dude, you are really going far to like distance yourself from this person, and you're not a very sensitive person. Who is this fucker?
Yeah, I'm not even going to go.
Don't even go into it. All right, it must be bad.
So, well, I mean, who does this? So he's at this amusement park with his two children, drunk. Okay, so who gets pissed drunk with their kids at an amusement park anyway? Drunk. The jet ski guy won't rent him a jet ski because, well, he's drunk. Gets into a fight with the jet ski guys, gets arrested, and goes to jail. So you go to an amusement park with your children and you end up in jail.
Shit-faced. Was he by himself, or did he have his like a wife or girlfriend or squeeze with him?
I don't know who he was with. I didn't get that part of the story. But it's like, who does shit like that? Well, pieces of crap do shit like that, But yeah,
there's a police department north of us that covers one of those amusement parks, and I've never really talked to them, but I'll bet you that they have constant runs over there for stupid shit. I'll bet you it's a nightmare.
Probably.
Because it's probably their number one business in their district as well.
Yeah, I definitely
would not. It's even possible that amusement park may even have its own PD. It's so big.
A lot of them do.
Yeah, Disney, I believe, has it. I know for a fact Disney has its own SWAT team.
Disney has a jail inside it. They have their own PD.
They have their own jail? I've never actually heard that confirmed.
Yeah. The one in Florida does. I don't know about California.
And again, how do you know this?
So what's in Florida? Is it Disneyland or Disney World? I get the two.
I can't. I don't even know. I don't know either. I never pay attention.
No, I know this because I was reading an article a long time ago about the hidden things about Disneyland or Disney World that people don't know about. Like there's a tunnel system underneath the entire amusement park, so people, so the people who dress up and do shit can like go back and forth to different areas of the park without the guests seeing them.
Yeah,
shit like that. It had all kinds of interesting fun facts like that. The Disney out in California, whichever one that is where the Dorito was invented.
Really? I think it's in Anaheim. I don't know why I know that, but I think it's in Anaheim, California. I don't know why.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Never been there.
So the Dorito was invented at Disney?
Yeah, apparently this is a story I get. And I read it in this article. They had nacho chips, for like the you buy the nachos with cheese, and they were expired and stale. So they couldn't serve them, but, instead of throwing them out, they dusted them with taco sauce or taco spice and was selling them. And they started selling them. I don't know what they called them at the time, but it became a huge hit at the park because the original Dorito, younger guys won't know this because they don't sell it now. I think they occasionally will come out with a special edition. But the original Dorito that came on the market that when I was a kid, there's only one flavor, and that was taco flavor. And then they came out with nacho cheese and then Cool Ranch. But the taco flavored Doritos were actually quite delicious. But
so the Dorito is a stale tortilla chip.
Basically, yes.
Holy shit.
And they dusted it with like taco seasoning and were selling them, and it became like a fan favorite at the park. And then I don't know, I guess Frito-Lay, I'm assuming Frito-Lay, that's who sells them now, or whatever company at the time bought the rights to it and marketed them as Doritos. Now I don't know if the Disney people came up with the name Dorito or Frito-Lay or who, but that's where it was actually invented.
So if that's true, it makes you wonder where a lot of other food came from, like corn dogs. Are corn dogs out, stale or expired hot dogs that they they're like, we can't throw these away. We have too many of them. Let's make
First off, I'm going to make the argument that hot dogs do not get stale or expire because of all the chemicals that are added to it. It's kind of like it never gets old.
Yeah. All right. So we started off with opening day. We ended up with Doritos in Anaheim, California somehow. All right. Well, this wraps up episode 115 of the John1911 Podcast. If you want to see pictures of the stuff we talked about, the guns or the police blotters or the T2 rifle or some of the other stuff, go to the comments section for this post on our blog page, John1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. And you can take a look down there. And just remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day.
See you later.